Welcome into Celtics pre-streams, ladies and gentlemen. And if you have a Celtics pre-streams, you know it's one of the biggest games of the season. I'm Marc D'Amico here with the voice of the Boston Celtics, Sean Grande. And Sean, this is a meaty one. Celtics versus Knicks. These two teams look very different than they did early on in the season, all the way back on October 24th. What are you taking away from where these two teams are now as compared to where they were then?
I'm taking that it feels like a playoff game right now. Just being in the building, walking around tonight, you're going to get that feeling in the environment. The Knicks, it's interesting. They're playing really well, and because Detroit and Toronto and Miami got off to that great start, no one's really paid attention to the fact that the Knicks are starting to roll and starting to look like the team that people thought they were going to be, even with OG Anunoby out. And I think those little injuries this part of the season, I think that helps them later in the year. But even with the coaching change, offensively, this is still an elite team.
Why are they elite? Like, what makes them elite offensively?
Well, Jaylen Brunson makes them elite.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's a good start.
Because he gives them options. Because if everything breaks down, he can still score for them. Karl Anthony Towns is a 7-footer who is one of the best three-point shooters of his era. That's number two. What was the problem with the Knicks last year? The bench. So they add Jordan Clarkson. They're getting scoring off the bench. Before Landry Shamet got hurt, he was scoring for them. So all these little
Surprisingly, by the way, I didn't expect him to play a key role.
But, I'll tell you what, Mitchell Robinson might be the biggest
Here's the highlights from the first game.
And this game was very bizarre in the fact that the Celtics won 3 of the 4 quarters, which is great, because that and $2.80 off your Apple Watch will get you on the subway, right, in New York, because they got crushed. It was a record worst quarter period for the Celtics ever, but a great example of what Joe Mazzulla talks about when he says what we can be, because for 3 of the 4 quarters, they played with one of the elite teams in the NBA, and now we found out they can win some games. If they up that from 3 quarters to 3.5 or close to 4, they can beat some of the elite teams as they have already done. Think about these last couple of games here with Detroit and Cleveland, the Lakers coming in. What a great time to be playing well.
Yeah, we said a week and a half ago we're going to learn a lot about the Celtics over the next couple of weeks. We're finding out that they're pretty damn good. Am I right?
You know what the NBA is learning?
What's that?
Take the gap year Celtics at
throw it away.
You throw at your own risk if you think it's going to be that, because clearly the one thing we know, I've been asked a lot, what's the Celtics team's identity? We don't know. If they don't know, here's the thing. Other teams aren't going to be able to figure out what it's going to be. The only identity that the Celtics team has to this point, they're going to play hard every night. And if you take them light, you're going to end up on the wrong end. And
they're going to take care of the ball. That is, in my opinion, the biggest thing that has gone into the winning success this season. They are number 1 in the NBA in turnovers per game, and it's by almost a full turnover.
Yeah.
OKC is the number 2 team, so they are taking care of the ball, which minimizes the opportunities for the other team, as we know. Both of these teams top 4 in offense this season. Knicks number 3, Celtics number 4. Why is that a big deal? How do you see that unfolding tonight?
I think it's pretty stunning that the Celtics are the number 4 offense in the NBA when you consider the guys that they don't have.
Yeah, especially one guy.
And factor number 2, has Derek White had a good year shooting the ball? Has Peyton Pritchard had a good year shooting the ball? No, and yet you still have generated the number 4 offense. How do you do that? By not turning it over and by getting offensive rebounds. And isn't it funny how everything Joe Mazzulla said at the start of the year, and people sort of rolled their eyes, offensive rebounding and crash rate and low turnovers, can you actually do it? They've actually done it, and a team that a lot of people were looking past in the Eastern Conference has the number 4 offense in the league. That's kind of insane.
And tonight, they're going to need to do a lot more of that, especially against this Knicks team, number 1 in rebounding percentage in the NBA. What do you think? How do the Celtics even combat that? Playing against a team that's just a lot bigger and more physical.
Well, they have to do what they remember the first weekend of the year. That was game number 2. So there were guys.
Things were not good during that first week,
particularly on the rebound.
In
the first game against Philadelphia, that game against New York, and then the Celtics went to Detroit and got beat up by Jalen Duren and the Pistons on the boards. Players were still learning their roles. And we're talking about how Derek White has to adjust and do more things. Jaylen Brown has to do more things. The one thing Jaylen has to do is rebound more. And now we're talking about him coming off a triple-double when we've had some games this year where all of a sudden you realize 2 or 3 rebounds from Jaylen Brown. The Celtics the last few years, they could win with games like that. Now he and everybody else has to just find their role, box a guy out, grab a rebound, and then you combine that with the crash rate and getting the second chances on the offensive end and timing that, whether it's Jordan Walsh or Peyton Pritchard or whoever, Josh Minot, whoever it is, you have to, as Joe says ad nauseum, we have to control the margins. That's what he's talking about.
You mentioned one guy there. We're going to talk about him right now. Jordan Walsh. This guy, his emergence over the last couple of weeks has been unbelievable. I don't think anyone saw this coming. Career highs on Sunday in points, rebounds, minutes played. He led the team in minutes played in a game that they won against one of the better teams in the NBA. What does this mean for the Celtics' future, knowing that Jordan Walsh is a player who can contribute at this level?
Well, the counting stats will come for him when he earns the minutes. He earns the minutes by doing the thing that all young players have to do in the NBA. Figure out what it is you are going to be. Players come in the league, whether it's Kobe, whether it's Jason Tatum, the great players, they know they're going to be elite scorers. Most players have been the best player on their team in high school, the best player on their team in college, maybe even in the G League. Jordan Walsh is not going to be that. But Pat Beverly stayed in this league for a very long time because he figured out what it is he does. And Jaylen Brown, Joe Mazzulla, Jason Tatum, who's been traveling with the team, they all told Jordan Walsh that this is what you can be. You guard the team's best player. You be a Tasmanian devil. And all of a sudden, it has all clicked in. And a player who we all started to wonder if he was going to be able to find his place in the league because he's trying to be old Jordan Walsh, college Jordan Walsh, G League Jordan Walsh. Instead, this is the new, I'm going to get the best player and sick him for 35 minutes, and that's going to be who I'm going to be. And that's how you make a long career.
He looks like a different player. Like the confidence level that we're seeing from him over the last couple of weeks, something changed, and it's working for the Celtics. And he is certainly a key piece of this team here moving forward.
Easy to be confident when Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum and Joe Mazzulla believe in you.
Yeah, I mean, literally led the team in minutes played during that game on Sunday in that big win. So, all right, we got a couple stars tonight. They're both named Jalen Brunson, Jaylen Brown. Two guys who are probably in the top 10 in terms of MVP, the MVP ladder so far this season. For Jaylen Brown, let's start out with him. What does he need to do in this game to try to get the Celtics on track? And by the way, he's played really well against the Knicks his last 3 games since Jason Tatum went down in the injury in the playoffs last year.
We are talking about Jaylen Brown scoring. It's funny where the counting stats and everybody's jumping on plus minus and advancement. It's fun when there's all this information. But sometimes you got to go back to the eye test. And that tells you that when the Celtics had needed to be dragged out of the water by their collar in these games, Jaylen Brown is the one who's doing it. He's the one who's making plays, and that's when he is scoring. We already talked about how he has to rebound better, where he's not getting enough credit. He's never been a great assisted turnover guy. The Celtics, as you said repeatedly, are on their way to a historic turnover rate. They are running away with the league in that category. Who's handling the ball more than anybody else?
Jaylen Brown.
So funny about that, where Jaylen's making passes that are leading to points. When the Celtics are shooting threes well, who's on the floor? Jaylen Brown is. And as we said, we're talking about rebounding when we're talking about his triple-double. Well, to get the triple-double, you need the assists as well. So it's been the hardest thing to do is to live up to people's expectations. And everyone said, boy, Jaylen Brown's got to step up. And then here we are 20 games in, and he really has done it.
Yeah, he's really doing it. Jalen Brunson, who do you think is going to defend him tonight? Is it Jordan? Is it Ugo? We saw Ugo in the first matchup. Yeah. Who is it tonight?
At Madison Square. I think the beauty of the Celtics team is
you don't know.
Sit here in 3 hours, and it's going to be like, man, I didn't see that Luka Garza move before he came out and guarded Jalen Brunson. But that's the point, is that the Celtics have a variety of guys, and the reason that's working right now, how many teams?
We got 1 minute until we got to cut.
Personality and the character. When the coach sees you make one mistake, you come out. That doesn't fly in a lot of places. Here it is. So the answer to who's going to guard Jalen Brunson is whoever is able to do it. Once they give up a basket or don't get a defensive rebound or make a mistake, they're coming out, next man up.
Well, we'll see who steps up tonight. One last question, and it's got to be quick. Where do you have Jaylen Brown on the MVP ladder right now? We just had a comment come in from Green Guru earlier today. Where is he?
I think he's probably in that secondary conversation. I mean, I think no one's cracking that elite top 4 if those guys stay healthy. But I think where Jaylen Brown, you're talking about, is second team, third team, all NBA. And that's, if we're talking about the Celtics going to the playoffs, how do you not put Jaylen on one of those teams and not have Joe in the conversation?
Couldn't agree more. I think he's top 8. That's where I got him right now. Joe Mazzulla should be in the Coach of the Year conversation as well. Sean Grande, tonight, becomes the leading broadcaster in all Celtics games at TD Garden. Congratulations.
It's the history of the building, right? It's all games. So I've realized there's a fine line. Oh, my God.
Yep, we got the photos. We got photo evidence.
How about getting my tweet, which is there's a fine line between making up stats nobody's ever heard of and just trying to poke a guy for being old.
All right.
I have an 8th grader in my house. I don't need to be told that I'm old.
Well,
I'm old every day.
You're not old. You're just great. So congratulations. This has been Celtics Pre-Streams. We appreciate you watching, and we'll be back Friday night for the game before the Lakers. We'll be sitting right here. We'll see you then. Hopefully the Celtics grab a win tonight. And tune in now to NBC Sports Boston for Celtics Pregame Live.